Discourse 22 through 24, Jermaine and Jesus speaking. Invocation. Thou infinite abiding presence, thy all-pervading light, thy abundance of substance is omnipresent and all-pervading. We open the activity of the outer consciousness into the conscious direction and molding into form every good thing we desire. We give praise and thanks for thy intelligent action in our minds with thy love, thy wisdom, and thy power to guide us, to raise us into all perfection. Thou mighty infinite intelligence, having power over all things, we welcome thy all-pervading presence, the all-pervading life, the animating principle of every human being. We give thanks that I am the great and mighty presence anchored in the heart of every one of God's children, fulfilling the perfect plan in spite of all resistance of the outer activity of the mind. Thou infinite, all-loving presence, we feel thy peace, thy love, and thy wisdom pervading all everywhere. Knowing there is but the one mighty presence of which we are a part, we know thou art omnipresent, pouring thyself forth, filling every need on demand, lifting the consciousness of mankind unto thee, and holding it anchored there until the light of eternal life fills all beings with its radiance, carrying them forward with that inner impulse to eternal, permanent recognition of the great I Am. Discourse. Jermaine. Beloved students, you who so earnestly seek the light, know there is but the one presence that is your invincible protection, and that is the great I Am presence, God in you. Do not let your attention ever be held by the many outer manifestations or any of the many things that would take your attention away from the mighty I Am presence, which is your real self. If you turn to it at all times, it will lead you in the pathway of light, strewn with the rarest flowers, whose very fragrance will enfold you with that strength and peace that passeth understanding, with that stillness of the outer which will enable you to enter into the great silence, wherein you will find the greatest invincible activity of God, the I Am presence. If you choose your I Am presence and adhere to it, then your struggles are soon over, and you will find yourselves moving in that sphere of peace, harmony, and perfection, wherein you look upon the outer world with great compassion, but never with that human sympathy which would stifle your own growth. This reminds us of the old time-worn statement, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all outer things are added or given unto your use, under your command. The kingdom of heaven is the great I Am presence, the only reality of you, who is the owner and giver of all created and manifested things. Is it not strange, beloved students, that one will so long wander about in discord and limitation, when the master presence of light, the I Am presence, walks by one's side at all times, waiting one's decision to turn to it and receive its radiant, glorious blessings of perfection in all outer manifestation? Such is your privilege, O beloved ones. The students must understand that they cannot divide their attention between the I Am presence and outer things, for it is a house divided against itself and must sooner or later fall. All greatness is dependent on the I Am presence, and it is the manifester of the form and should be acknowledged as such. In it is all strength, courage, and power. Those blessed children, if they could only realize fully what a privilege stands at their doors and how in a comparatively short time they could gain freedom from all limitation. The fact is that the one God is always perfect, always was, is now, and always will be. And the I Am is that presence. But if they have not been aware of this, the body and brain of the student must go through a period of adjustment. That adjustment of the outer self takes weeks, months, or years to accomplish according to the requirement of the student. The atomic structure is a mechanical instrument, and the innumerable parts must work in harmony and perfect cooperation with each other. The students do not understand that when a certain specific work is to be done, there must be definite preparation for it. Jesus, in my ministry to mankind among the hills of Judea, I stirred the latent memory within the inner records of mankind, and its work is still going on today. I wish the students to understand that preceding all conscious healing upon my part within my own mind, I was always conscious that I am the only healing presence. And as that unlimited I am presence, I had the right, the power, and the ability through that presence to command all outer activity of the mind to be silent and obey its command. Thus, when I spoke to individuals, I spoke with that authority of the I am presence, which I recognized as the only intelligence and power acting, or that could act. I was conscious of the outer activity of the minds of those of humanity about me, but as I said to you before, it was only when I began using I am the resurrection and the life that the fullness of my mission and how it was to be fulfilled was entirely revealed. This is the particular point I wish to stress with students today, that within each one of them is the same mighty I am presence, which I use to accomplish the perfection of that mighty presence. This seemed to humanity at the time the performing of miracles. However, I assure you it was but consciously setting into action and use cosmic laws that are ever about you to be set into activity through conscious direction. I tell you sincerely from my own experience that we must acknowledge the one presence, intelligence, and power, then claim it as our own in every thought and activity. It is the only way this mighty perfection can be brought into the outer appearance and the fullness of your use, because that perfection has not yet appeared, seemingly. Should not deter you from applying and claiming perfection as your own. For anyone with average intelligence has but to stop and think that the energy, the life principle which he is using, is God, the mighty I am presence, God in action. Therefore, its presence, power, and energy is always self-sustaining. All of this you must claim with determined conscious effort, and know that in the conscious demand is the I am presence speaking and acting. Therefore, it has all power and authority to clothe whatever the demand is with its kind. In the consciousness that you are the I am presence acting at all times, all across the universe, you then must know that you are that moment of recognition, an invincible magnet of attraction which causes every activity of the universe to rush to you to fulfill the demand. As you continue to accept and use these cosmic laws in your activity, you will find that you are attaining dominion. I wish so earnestly to make clear to you that you are being given and taught the exact laws which I used, and which everyone who has attained the ascended state must use. It is all a matter of use. Once you know of these laws, and that the I am presence, which you are, has all intelligence, power, and authority to consciously direct the energy through the outer activity of your mind, then do not fear to use it to heal, to prosper, to bless, and to enlighten your fellow man. Erase from your mind forever that there could be any selfishness in your conscious recognition that the I Am Presence is directing. It matters not what you require for your attainment, wherein it makes you more able or of greater ability and power to bless. Every individual's first duty is adoration and love to the one mighty I Am Presence, which is everywhere present. Do you not see how in this it is a joyous privilege to love your so-called enemy? Because I am the only real presence and activity everywhere. If the ignorance of the outer activity of the mind seems to have created disorder, pain, and limitation, then you know the miscreation has no power of its own. There is nothing but the wrong belief of the individual to sustain it. Consequently, it has no self-sustaining power. Real power is held only by the one infinite creator, the only real presence, an actor acting within an enemy, albeit unbeknownst to the individual. If you have been unfortunate enough to create inharmony or disorder or limitation, and can you not see that you alone, through the power of your I Am Presence, must consciously call on the law of forgiveness, consumed through that consuming flame of life, which you are, everything in your world, which you have wrongly created? This should easily make it clear to you how you set about to cleanse your world of its disorder and its mistaken creations. Then you stand forth, clothed with the sun, the light of eternal life, youth, beauty, and health, holding within your hand for instant use the self-sustaining scepter of power of the I Am Presence, which you are. It is important to know that this one mighty energy does all things according to the quality you give it or the wish you want fulfilled. One thing students should be intensely conscious of, and that is, I am the eternal, harmonizing presence and activity everywhere I move and everything to which my thought is directed. This, constantly used with the feeling of its invincible power, will keep the atmosphere of your world purified, harmonized, and held in readiness for any conscious direction to go forth with great speed to its accomplishment. Try always to remember that you are not human beings, so-called, but you are gods and goddesses in embryo, which through conscious intent you can bring into full dominion. I say to you, beloved students of light, arise, awaken to the fullness of your God dominion. Fearlessly use the conscious knowledge and direction of this mighty I Am energy for your freedom, prosperity, blessing, and enlightenment. Grasp this scepter of your power and dominion, and you will find all earthly things bowing before you and rushing to fulfill your slightest demand. Say often, I am always loving obedience unto the light. Everything will become more alert, more quickened, and more powerfully projected as you use the I Am Presence more and more. As the consciousness of the students is raised into the activity of the higher fire element, everything in their beings begins to act with an intensity that many times they do not understand. And as they begin to work more from the fire element standpoint, the more necessary it is to keep up the guard of self-control. Whatever energy is given into your use is to be sent out harmoniously. That is the natural law of your being. People resist persons, places, conditions, and things because they have not yet mastered themselves. The students must maintain this self-harmony within themselves long enough to let the momentum be created, which becomes the permanent guard. If one will maintain harmony within himself, I tell you, he will draw all good things unto him. The unfailing prompter is the moment one expresses some kind of discord, he is to realize that he is the one to blame. The moment there is something discordant, it is the prompter warning you to get busy on yourself. Each individual is his own guard and prompter at all times. There is only one power in the world that can correct anything, and that is the I am presence in each individual. If you refuse to recognize that you are the creator of your own disturbance, how can you ever correct it or be free from it? There is no person, place, condition, or thing that warrants your ever being disturbed with the ever-present I am presence beating your heart each moment and is ever all-powerful. If you give attention to a condition of disturbance, you are giving power to something else but your I am presence. If one corrects himself on these discordant feelings, he will let the great I am presence flood his world with all perfection. If the individual will not correct himself, how can he ever gain the eternal victory? The I am presence is the all power of the universe to make this correction. Let the I am presence flow until it washes everything clean. When your attention is fixed firmly upon the I am presence, which you are, it is as though your body were a fine sponge through which this pure energy is pouring, cleansing it of all imperfection. If you will stop the discord, the stream of the I am presence automatically cleanses away all impurities. You thus have an unlimited power in your hands to intensify your right commands. Either from a sense of false pride or something, humanity will not face the truth that the cause is within themselves. The habit of always blaming the other fellow for what has happened to you is the thing that blinds you to the truth and prevents self-correction. The correct attitude of the student who becomes aware of his I am presence is immediately to take the firm stand that I am invincibly protected against any imperfect suggestion. Those students who really begin to understand that in the recognition and use of their I am presence, they have the universal power at their command, then they know it is impossible to fail in their application, because the more they use it, the more of its sustaining power they have. Every time you feel a Christ manifestation, say, I praise thee, and accept the light of thy presence, the full I am activity. Benediction. Out of the fullness of our hearts, Almighty Presence, we give praise and thanks for thy love, wisdom, and power. We give thanks for the intensity of this focus that quickens the assurance within the students of the truth of their mighty presence of the I am, which is the true self. Strengthen them, each one, with that firm determination to hold to that one presence, which is all freedom, all perfection, eternal youth, and beauty. Thou mighty, infinite presence of wisdom, love, and power, we give thanks for thy radiant presence, glorifying all who look to thee. And in thy glorious presence we send to all mankind thy enfolding light, lifting them into thy presence always, intensified to the heights, thy wondrous light within the outer activity, that each one may become a great channel to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to enlighten. We thank thee.